OzMag.com.
As much as I'd like to ask a question about when the next Vic Travis dodgeball game is gonna start, or if you ever change the basketball so I can introduce my streetball name, White Man Can't Shoot Either. The actual question is, you guys have been voice acting for ages now.
We're very old.
Yes, very old.
Thank you for that.
We're actually vampires.
Since the old days of the early 2000s. And I want to know, you've worked with so many great voice actors. If you built a Mount Rushmore for voice actors, who would you put on that Mount Rushmore?
Oh, no, that's a hard one.
Nice.
Okay, you do it.
Mel Blanc
Okay, that's
would be the George Washington on there.
good.
Right. Anybody, before I hear me just do all of them?
And I'll veto or...
Yeah, Jim
I
Cummings.
knew that was going to be
Yeah.
the one.
The cast of The Simpsons.
The whole cast?
Yeah, because
That's
there's
one of
just
the
like
heads?
there's like 6 of them and they do 800 voices
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's
It's ridiculous.
And Travis Willingham as the fourth head.
No, I veto that.
Because,
He gets taken out there. Who else?
Charlie Adler,
Yeah, we like Charlie Adler.
because he's
Charlie
amazing.
Adler gets to go on there. And no more dodgeball matches. Only because I saw Vic beating a girl with that dodgeball at like 45 miles an hour right in her face, and she had glasses on, and I was like, I smell a lawsuit coming soon. This will not happen anymore.
You guys end up doing a great number of video game voices. Do you ever get a chance to play, or even play regularly, any of the games that you're in? And if so, does it get weird?
Weird.
Yes, and yes.
Always.
I was a big fan of Saints Row 3 and 4. It's very cathartic to make a person who looks like you and sounds like you and you get to beat people up. Dragon Age, huge fan of that, and I was so excited to get to voice Inquisition.
So excited doesn't quite cover it, but.
I was kind of jumping off the wall when
Yeah.
I found out. Yeah.
Skyrim.
Skyrim, yes.
I'm a big first-person shooter guy. Red Dead Redemption, Last of Us. So getting to be in any of the Call of Duty games, the Battlefield games, I love that. It'll never not be weird hearing your voice, even when you're screaming like grenade. You're like, I don't believe you. You sound strange. What else?
It's weird though when you're playing and you forget that it's you. Because I feel like if the game is immersive enough, then you just start to ignore the fact that you've been a part of it and you get caught up.
Yeah, and the community of voice actors is such an amazing, loving family that we all know each other really well, and we've worked on enough games now that about 85% of the time you'll be walking through some random village or through Gotham, and you'll be like, Steve Bloom, Liam O'Brien, Laura Baily, just naming Tara Platt, naming off people's names and stuff like that. So it's hard to like keep your fourth wall intact and not be like, I know all of these people.
Both of you guys have worked on Dragon Ball Revival 3, right?
I have
Just
just,
Laura.
yeah, just
Yes.
What was that like recording that new movie? I know you guys weren't even expecting to get that so early.
Right. It's so crazy going back and doing Trunks. Because he was, one of the first voices I ever did, and I was still learning what the process was and what I was capable of when we were recording DBZ. And to go back and I just totally hit that. Sorry. To go back now and record Trunks, it's this weird paradox, weird dimension opening up above me, and I feel like, am I doing the same thing I did then? I mean, do I sound different? Do I sound at all better? Because I go back and listen to DBZ, and I go, oh, what was I doing? That was not good. But there's enough people that are fans of the show that I think, I think if I changed it too much, people would be unhappy. So, yeah, it's fun.
all of a sudden Trunks is extremely poised and
Right.
collected. And
No.
very well spoken.
He'll never be poised. Hi, yeah, that was mine to debunk, so it's all good.
Oh, sorry.
But, no worries. You guys met working together, and I don't want to get like super personal, but is there a different dynamic when you guys get to work together versus when you're doing separate projects? And how that all goes?
Yeah, I mean, we first met as extras on some random industrial shoot doing watermelon, watermelon, watermelon in the background, you know, just so that your mouth moves. You're not saying anything.
So, yeah, we're literally talking to each other like...
For hours. That's all you do.
That's fine.
It's a special kind of insane. But now, for me, in the beginning, I would just be nervous because I respect Laura's talent so much. I was like, oh man, I gotta
I've
learn
got
that.
a huge talent.
Well, I retract my previous statement. Wow. So I was a little awkward about it at first. I don't know how it was for her, but now we've done it more and more, worked together more and more. This is going south real fast.
I didn't want to be that personal.
I know. There's just no way for it not to be. And more than anything, there's a great trust between us so that we can fully commit to characters that sometimes are allies, sometimes they're enemies, and especially when it's conflicting characters, we can go to places where we don't really like each other very much while we're shooting, and the trick is then leaving that on the stage or in the booth. And
Which is hard. It
not
can be
bringing it up.
really hard. When we were doing First Light, Infamous First Light, I hated his character so much that we would be recording together and I'd just be looking over at him like, every time you make that stupid voice, I hate that stupid voice. I hate that stupid character.
Eyes of the Dragon. I would look over and she'd just be dogging. She's just like, I'm like, you okay? And she'd go,
Yeah, I just don't like
I don't like you. It's like, okay, I don't like you. All right, well, I'm not the character. I know.
I know. Shut up.
Oh, man, all right.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Mhm.
Oh, me? Oh, is it? Oh, you
Oh,
go.
you're a Critical Role shirt.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was actually going to ask a question about it. What are the stories behind the creation of your characters?
Our brains. It just came out of nowhere. It's like a fart in the wind. It's just like, woof, where'd it come from?
Actually, when we first started playing, so Liam O'Brien's birthday came up, and he wanted to get his friends together and play a game of D&D. So we all got together, and it was a one-off. And so he was one of the first people to create a character because he had played before, and he's like, I know, I want to be a rogue, and I want to be a half-elf. And I was like, I want to be a half-elf. I want to be a rogue. The Leamery took it. And then we realized we had the same birthday. So I'm like, I'm going to be your freaking twin in the game, because I want to be a half-elf too. And he's like, that's cool. I'm like, I guess I'll be a ranger, because I can still be kind of sneaky.
And like, there's such RPGers anyway, Mass Effect, the Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, all that stuff, and I'm terrible at those games. So I was like, oh, there's a lot of spells and rules and dynamics and numbers that I have to remember. I'm really bad at math. I want to be the dumbest character there is. Barbarian, cool. Now I want to be really, really big. Goliath, got it. I'm a Goliath barbarian. And they're like, what's your name? And I was like, Grog? Because I'm a monkey. They're like, Grog, the Goliath barbarian. What do
Your name is
you
Beard.
do?
Beard?
And I was like, I'm a fine leather boot maker. They're like, you make leather boots? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And that's like how things happen. It's just whatever like comes into your stupid mind.
And
then-
Matt would just go, yes, okay, you're that. Let's keep going.
But he is such a specific and creative storyteller that when he starts getting into a spiel and it's so detail oriented, you not only instantly become engaged in what he says, but it like hyperdrives your imagination and he just brings you along with him. So I would imagine, because we haven't played with anybody besides Matt, what you had, that if you didn't have a very creative DM, it might be a little lower RPM, but when he starts up, it's hard not to just get caught up with him.
He starts standing up. As soon as he stands up, we're like, okay.
Yeah, we love it.
My question is, how do you connect to characters who maybe have widely varying moralities, like someone who's really good versus someone who's really evil, maybe someone who's a little bit more in between?
So, this is an interesting question for Laura because in video games, I love playing things evil. I love being bad. I got Slytherin as my house in Hogwarts. Like I just naturally lean towards
I
abusing
got
power.
Hufflepuff,
So, but I ask her, like she'll be walking through a game and there will be a pig walking across the street. And I'm like, kill the pig. She's like, no, that's not my pig. I'm like, do
not my pig. Like I would kill my pig? No.
Yeah, she won't do anything wrong, even in a virtual sense. She can't do things that are evil. And I'm like, why? She goes, because I'll feel bad. I'm like, what are you talking about? It is pretend.
No,
And she won't do it.
I won't do it. But there's something really awesome than getting to play a villain, because you do get to do all of the things that you would never ever do in real life. It gets it all out. I feel like it lets those demons outside of you, and yeah, they can exist.
Was fantastic.
Right? Yeah, you can have that. But then when if the villain then redeems themselves, it's even better to me.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. You got all the bad, and you can still have really great happy stuff.
I'm like the Emperor, and I'm just trying to get Darth Vader to go as bad as she can go. I come in all the time and she'll be talking to some farmer. I'm like, kill the farmer. Kill the farmer.
So it must be really good to play King Roland, who is very nice.
Yeah. Well, the director said one really great thing. He was like, pretend like you're talking to your own children. And I was like, I got it. Oh, okay. But I love playing villains.
My question is pretty simple. How is it being an Avenger?
Oh,
So awesome.
awesome. It's so great. It's so great. We're such fans of Marvel and of the franchise and films, and we were avid comic book readers for years. And the dynamic they've established with that whole team is just so great, and all the stories and comics and movies that are branching off of that. The whole MCU is just amazing.
Yeah, and actually, Travis was cast earlier than I was for the series, because he had played Thor in Ultimate Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew he was going to be Thor already in the show, and Troy was going to be Loki. Yeah, and Hawkeye, and I was like, ooh. And so I wanted so bad to get to be Black Widow, and when it happened, it felt really good.
So, like, for text message conversations, do you guys have it titled Avengers Assemble?
We almost did that, because now you could put headers on the text threads, and we have an Avengers text thread that goes on while we're recording, trying to like crack each other up and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not very Avenger
They
worthy.
throw erasers and pen caps at each other's
Crotch.
junk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we record radio play style in this half circle, and everybody has their own individual microphones with a stand and the script in front of each other, so it becomes a game that, we have a pencil and we'll sit down, and then when someone's, trying to be very heroic, you gotta wing it like right through them. And maybe if you're lucky, it'll make contact, and he'll be like, listen, Falcon, we need to. Gotta keep straight face.
I always judge Roger, who plays Captain America, is always standing right next to me during the sessions, and I'll just stare up at him as he's doing his lines and be like, no, that one was bad, do it again.
Kind of going back a little bit to the critical, first of all, did you get the 8-foot bear yet?
It hasn't come in yet. I mean, that was just a couple days ago, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous.
They made it? They made it to...
I don't think they're making it, I think they bought it.
So it's actually coming.
It is coming to the studio. I don't know where we're gonna put it. It's gonna be the biggest thing ever.
It's a giant 8-foot bear. It's gonna be sitting right behind her.
Yeah, when we were playing
Cramping
the game the
my
other
space.
night, somebody on the chat room said, if you guys make it to 5,000 subs on the Geek and Sundry Twitch network, then I will send a giant 8-foot trinket, which is my pet.
Armored bear.
Yes. So yeah, we thought we were never gonna get it because it was like 400, 500 subs away. So it was like, oh, that's not gonna happen. But it did!
It did.
And now I get a giant fan!
You do.
So that means Lord is also happening too?
Yes!
Oh.
And he's gonna hate it. Yeah.
Yep.
It's gonna be so exciting.
And another thing is you were talking about comics and how you were, you're avid readers. So I was wondering what comic book characters that you haven't played that you would really want to play.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's good.
I think so Punisher and Daredevil are two fantastically intricate characters that I've loved since the late 90s. I read a ton of Wolverine when I was younger. I loved Alpha Flight. I feel like there are so many smaller stories and characters that they're just waiting to expand on. I don't
love to play Hannah and Rat Queens.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Oh,
right?
baby.
That would be amazing.
If you haven't read Rat Queens, check it out. It's amazing.
Yeah, super, super good. I don't know.
I got to play Superman in a Lego Superman game, but it's like my dream to play a theatrical version of Superman just because it meant so much to me as a kid growing up. But that's kind of a not as unique answer, but it's the truth. I want to fly.
You want to be Peter Pan?
I know.
Yeah. So earlier you mentioned about that I play villains in video games, and I know that you Travis were the voice of Rebel Clover in the Blaze Blue series, which you also played Cell in the Dragon Ball series, but also you also played Guile in the Street Fighter series. One of my favorite characters, Andy Richard-Lee, which is good.
Who's very good.
Yes. So like you said, you were a big fan of villains. What would be the most stark difference, if coming from playing Guile in the Street Fighter series, which came out in about 2000 and you started in 2008, 2009, compared to going into Blaze Blue and playing such a BA character like Relius Clover?
Mm-hmm. The unique thing about fighting games is that when you're recording it, the structure is usually is always the same, right? You're not going to see a lot of exposition. You're not going to see any monologues. You're not going to see anything that really shows you who the character is. So your challenge is to get whatever personality exists in that character out in 5 words or 3 words, and it's going to be as fast as possible. Like the line sometimes, if it's 2.5 seconds long, you're like, oh, I got all day to say this. Because it could be 7 words, and they're like, we need it in 1.3 seconds.
It's crazy.
That's like timed files and everything, so you really got to be on your game. Has it advanced much? I think it's kind of the same, but they've gotten they've become more creative with the characters, I would say. Not that Street Fighter isn't creative, but those are those archetypes that you've known since Street Fighter 1, 2, and all the way up through from the arcade days. And I think they're just getting more and more creative with the stories and the characters that they're making.
Right, and then one more about, because, Blaze Blue series is one that's very story heavy.
Right.
So, when it comes to, because I know with Guile, for the most part, it's Sonic Boom, Somersault, Strike, and with Rebel Clover, it's more of complete exposition. Your thoughts on just having to bring out the personality of Clover into the American audience.
It's kind of like someone just saying, here's the type of character that we think he is, and we want you to put it through your filter, right? So that can be it can be kind of a hit or miss thing, and I'm sure they don't know how it's going to turn out, and we don't often know how it's going to turn out. A lot of times when you're auditioning for a character, you're just sending your voice type, and they're like, that sounds like what we think it could be. And then it's just the job of the actor and the director and the producers that are in there to make sure that all the story elements are being communicated and that you can kind of get your mind wrapped around whatever story there is. It's tough. There's a lot of times where we don't even get to spend as much time with characters or games as we would like to. So it's a really rush process of figuring out who he is, what he wants, and what he's doing at that particular time.
But that is the beauty of Blaze Blue, is that since the stories are so developed, and you get all of those fun little animated sequences, where people are talking and everything, you get to establish those characters more with that game.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't even realize till just now you guys were fetching Reggie from the.
I love watching you. They're also in what?
How often do you guys get to collaborate on projects like that? You get together, I'm assuming once in a blue moon?
More than we would expect.
Yeah, more than should be allowed, man. And it's never on purpose. We were just talking about this. It's been happening more and more, and it's never like a packaged thing, or that we know each other or are married or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
We audition completely separately.
With Halo, we worked together on that, and they didn't know that we knew each other when we got cast on that.
No.
Avengers. Honestly, was it our very first mocap gig?
Yeah, by
was together.
Yeah.
That just looked out that way too. We went to Japan to film together, and they didn't even know that we knew each other. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's never been was your wife interested in doing this as well, or is Travis interested in doing it?
I mean, now it's kind of the point that, like, I'll go into a session, and if Travis isn't on the game, then they usually say, and we're gonna get Travis in very soon, because we have a lot of cards coming up that we want Travis to play. I'm like, cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Cool, whatever. You don't have to qualify today, it's cool.
Travis sucks, you don't want him in there.
But it's awesome. And, you know, because mocap is becoming so much more prominent in video games, we both lucked out that we got in early on being involved in that process. And so we're some of the people that have done it the most in the industry. And that hence leads to more and more work. So we end up, you know, seeing each other a lot in projects just because there's a small group of people that are experienced with it and can come in and know the venue and know the movement and understand what we're supposed to do on the stage. So yeah, it happens a lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover that way.
Yeah.
What song would, one second. Good. What song do you feel like best describes your work ethic?
What song?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, I don't know. That's a hard one. I've never gotten that question ever.
Yeah, that's tough. I need like an iTunes
I know,
player.
right? I feel like I can't just name that on the top of my head. I have to look. I have to look at things. Think.
Baby, you're a fire.
That has nothing to do with
That's
it.
funny because I was going to Katy Perry too, and I'm like, that's weird.
I don't know.
I wanna see you be brave.
Oh, yeah, it's like that. It's the circle. Never get into Disney.
Right.
All right, well, you guys very clearly started out with a heavy geek background, fan background, and now you're in the industry doing the thing. Did either of you, what's your biggest, fanboy or fangirl, oh my God, Senpai noticed me moment? Geeking out over.
Oh, I mean, I got like 3.
I geeked out hard when I met Jen Hyeon. Yeah, I had been playing Mass Effect like crazy, and then we were at a cabin in like Big Bear or something, and we were there with a group of friends, and Jen was friends with one of our friends, and she came over to the cabin, and I was like, oh my god.
Comment, my bad.
So I was trying not to geek out, and I ended up like sitting down and talking to her. I'm like, do you realize like what you've done and how amazing your work is? And she was just like, no. And she's like, I mean, I go and I do it. I didn't realize. I'm like, you're so good. You're so amazing.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Being in voiceover, every once in a while, someone that is just a pinnacle in the geeky world we live in will walk in, and there was one day where I was in for like a Transformers video game or something, and it's just me recording, and I go out to the kitchen to get a bottle of water, and this short guy, tiny dude, comes walking in, and like, he's like, he comes up to the refrigerator right next to me, and goes, boy, it sure is hot out today. I like froze. An audible came out, and Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime, had come in, and he was just getting like a cup of coffee. I was like, are you Optimus? And he's got like this black mustache, and he goes, why, yes, I am. I was like, oh my god, you sound just like him. He's like, I'm sure there's a reason for that. And there was another time where we walked in for a session, and Mark Hamill was sitting right there.
Yeah,
and
that was the one when Mark Hamill.
You get Tourette's, like you walk in and you go, Skywalker. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Please don't let me call him. And then getting to work on Titan's Grave. So I grew up huge. Shut up.
Do it. Go.
I grew up as this huge Star Trek fan, and I had the biggest crush on Wes the Crusher. I mean, he's so cute. And so Yuri's birthday party, like Will was there. I didn't know him at the time, and like Will's like walking by, and I was like, that's Will. Oh my god. And I made Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. I'm like, take a picture of me, but I didn't want to get Will's attention because I didn't want to admit that I was like a fan. And so he's like standing behind me, and I was like, so yeah. So I've got a picture of like me, like with Will's like belly, like right behind me, and like his head isn't even in the picture. I was like, so then when they called and said we'd be on tabletop, I was freaking out, and then to do Titan's Grave, the whole time we were filming that show, I'm just sitting, playing like a tabletop game, basically D&D, with Wesley Crusher, and the whole time I'm just like, what is my life? What is happening right now? If I had told little me that I was gonna be here just talking to Will, and now he's like one of my good friends, what? Like, it's just crazy. Yeah.
So a lot of your shows have appeared on Toonami, and Toonami has had a huge cultural impact on anime being in the United States. So for you guys, what does Toonami and the fandom of Toonami mean to you?
Well, for me personally, I started watching Dragon Ball Z when it was on Toonami in the afternoons in like 1999, 2000, I think, around then. Maybe it was 2001. And my entire fraternity and lacrosse team and just all these jocks loved Dragon Ball Z, and I couldn't even have told them that it was anime or that it came from this, this culture that we're working so much in now. And Toonami went away for a little while, and then Steve Bloom really helped champion it back. And I think it's just so important because it means so much to so many people, and there's just so many great titles out there.
I feel like we wouldn't have the careers that we have right now if it wasn't for Toonami.
Yeah,
for sure.
They really helped
It
showcase it.
launched a lot,
Yeah, if it wasn't on Toonami, I had to go to like Target and buy VHS.
Suncoast.
Yeah, Suncoast.
Yeah. That's not around anymore, right?
There's the one in existence.
No way.
I was surprised it was there. There's a mall 20 minutes from here.
Whoa.
It's called White Marsh Mall. And
That's awesome.
There's one left in the entire world.
I went into Suncoast when we, after we had done Blue Gender, and it came out, and I was still like, I am an animator, and I was so excited about, like, I didn't want to tell people, but I wanted to tell everyone. And so I went into Suncoast, and I was like, so, how's that show, that Blue Gender, how is it? And he was like, it's not very good. I was like, ooh. I had to like walk away with my head down. I couldn't admit that. Right. I think it was good. That guy didn't know anything.
If you could take a road trip from California to New York City with any one of the characters that you have voiced, who would you choose and why?
Were you in the panel earlier? You weren't in my panel, were you? I got that question earlier in my panel. Oh, that's
really?
such a crazy, that's like the first time I've heard that question, so it's crazy. I said I'd want to take a road trip, I think, with, wait. With any character ever that we voiced?
Any character that you've ever voiced.
Oh no.
Past 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. I said I think going on a road trip with Fetch would be really fun because I think she'd be hilarious and she'd be down to like do anything.
Yeah,
so
that's
like
right.
if you saw something cool and wanted to stop, she'd be like, yes, let's do it, man.
So you don't want to take a road trip with Shin?
Definitely not. Shin would like poop in the car and he'd just be the worst. If you stopped at the gas station, he'd disappear. You'd be like searching for hours for him and it would be like laying face down next to the beer aisle just for the hell of it.
Oh no, I don't want to say Superman, but I'd be like, let's fly. Yeah, we could fly in the car. He just holds it by the roof and we just fly in the car. It'd be amazing.
Really fun.
And then we'd shoot stuff with his laser eyes. It'd be amazing. Could jump off a really tall
Specifically
thing.
Lego Superman.
Yeah, just Lego version. Freak people out.
So I sort of have the opposite question. The other one, do you guys have any insane fan stories?
Tons. Not even enough hours in this day to get through them all. A lot of them came from when we were younger because we just didn't see the signs. We didn't see the warning signs. We've had great fan experiences, and we've had kids give us folded up pieces of notebook paper with hair in it, which is just weird. I had a kid come up and give me a nice buckled leather case, and you open it up, and it's velvet lined, and there's a bright, shiny saxophone in it, like brand new. And I was like, whoa, you want me to sign this? He's like, yeah, please, it means so much. I'm like, okay. And I thought, I was like, is this yours? And he goes, no, it's my school's. I'm like, all right, so you're live.
I feel like most of the weird, freaky fan stuff now comes from like Twitter. I feel like in person, everybody's so nice. And then on Twitter, people will be so very mean, just because they can be. So yeah, that's the only like weirdness that I feel like I run into now.
Yeah, that's true.
Like one tweet, and then 5 minutes later, all caps tweet, and then 5 minutes later, why aren't you writing me back? You're blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm reading these.
You have a memorable blooper moment behind the scenes during voices?
We had a lot from last week.
Oh man, yes.
I feel like we should have re-released that whole show with just our outtakes because it would have been so amazing. I mean, there are so many. Back when I was recording Dragon Ball Z, Sean Schimmel, who was here this weekend, by the way, I need to remind him of this disgusting story.
I'm so proud.
He probably would still do it. That's the horrible thing about it. He was recording before me, and back then, you know, the booths at Funimation were whisper rooms, so it was like a tiny little closet with a mic in it. All air vents have been sealed so that they don't make noise, and it's just completely dead air in there, right? So it's pretty gross anyway, because people are in there 8 to 10 hours a day, and it's like
taking their shoes
yeah,
off,
it's sweating and kind of stanky, you know, it's just gross. So Sean's recording for like 4 hours before me, and he's in there, and right before he gets done, he farts. And then exits the booth and closes the door really fast, because he thinks it would be really funny to trap it in there. And I had a session right after him, so I walked into the like Sean Schimmel fart air, and then had to record for 4 hours.
The stink cloud.
Yeah, he was really proud of it.
Mine last week, we had a line. We were the male and lead protagonists, and
the male and lead protagonist.
Is that what I said?
That's
It is,
what you
isn't it? My brain doesn't work right now. A male and female protagonist, and my character had like leather pants and 80s rock hair and fingerless gloves.
Rock opera.
And he would take out this harmonica and he would throw it in his dramatic moment and spin it in the air and he would catch it, and he would say, "Feel my wind." Which is just the weirdest thing. I would turn to the director and go, "Does it really translate to feel my wind? Feel my wind? That's what it says?" He's like, "That's what it says, Travis." And he'd be like, "Okay, feel my wind." This is so stupid, I can't say this. It was this thing over and over, we couldn't get through it. And at the very end, one of the last lines of the show was Laura character coming in and saying,
I think I was standing behind your character at the time, which makes it even worse. Where I said, "I can feel it. I can feel your wind."
and of course, you know, every time we were recording, we just go,
yeah, I mean, so there's just so many in that show. It's pretty great. And then they have this like makeout scene, and instead of like making out, they like slowly come together and like
butt heads
like 10 Barbie.
Horrible animations, no doubt.
It's awesome.
That show's right.
We're coming up on 40 minutes, so we'll do
that went fast.
Oh, have you learned anything about yourself while working in this business?
To trust our imaginations, to trust our instincts.
Oh, that's really good.
It's a
I
great
like what
question.
you said. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's lets us be free to try new things, because, you know, it's hard when you're doing stuff on camera. You're pigeonholed so much, and it's so little to do with what you can do and so much to do with what you look like. And the beauty of voice acting is that you can be anything if you can create it.
Yeah, perfectly said. It's such a hard thing for actors to get to be confident in what you're doing, especially when it's just you that you're trying to market to sell. And I think through the years we've realized that our stuff is good, and our choices are good, and our imaginations are up. So it's been a fascinating experience.
Yeah. You have to have confidence of steel, because you get rejected so very much.
Every day.
So it teaches you to like accept the rejection and keep moving forward.
Yeah. Be very comfortable with rejection.
Yeah.
It's going to be there forever.
WeRiseMag.com